So now we're going to simplify a few things. Most of all, we're not going to really be doing a new refactor or doing anything. We're just going to simplify the way so that it doesn't actually use that much of the state machine, because I think it just at the end there's only a few specific things that we are doing, and those don't really, we don't gain anything from the state machine, to be honest, at this point, and I'm kind of sick of doing everything all the time. So let's do this. Final time we're going to rewrite all of this. Now we're not really going to be writing from scratch anything, because there's no need to. We already have a lot of things that we need. We're simply going to change a few things. First of all, let's go on to our input manager. Our input manager already works. Okay, and we do get a lot of things. So I'm going to remove it from the state machine, and it's going to become a mono behavior action. Because it's going to become a mono behavior action, it means there's no execute. So we're going to bring our update to this, and let's rename this to be simple void handle input, and drop it inside our update. Okay, obviously this doesn't exist anymore, so let's delete it. Okay, this doesn't return, and I think everything else will work fine, but we need to be having a reference to our state manager for this. I'm going to make this public. We're still going to be using the player state manager, but we're going to be changing this a lot. Maybe we'll not use it as a state manager. Maybe we'll just keep them different. But what I'm going to do, I'm just simply going to search for start, and I'm going to add start, and of course if s is null, I'm simply going to be returning. Let's replace these two states, and actually I kind of want to make this as a controller and not as the states. So let's minimize that. Let's open this. Yeah, we do not have the input manager anymore, so we can remove it entirely. And let's start moving things around. First of all, I'm going to create a folder called controller, and I'm going to name this as controller. So open this up. We still want this to be a mono behavior with update and start, although we might not need it. We are going to need start for sure, and we are going to need a nav mesh agent. That means we're going to have to access the AI here. Then we're going to need the rigid body, the nav mesh agent. For now, I think these two should do it. So for this, then we're going to have to do rigid body equals get component children rigid body, and agent get component children nav mesh agent. So now we're going to go on to our actions we did, and we're going to bring them from the state manager from their actions inside the controller. Now technically you don't really need to be doing this. It will work just fine as below, but I'd rather do this so it's even more simple. So let's see. So we have our move player action, move player character, which moves your character with this, checks if you are in the ground. Okay. It updates a few things and updates also the velocity and so on and so on. So I'm going to take this, the entire logic for this, going to copy it up till here. We don't really need the execute. And we're going to go onto our new script called controller. And I'm going to make this as a public void move character. And just paste it in here. Now, right off the bat, you see that we have a few things that we do not need. First of all, it's wherever we have states and dot, it means we do not use, we do not use it anymore. It's going to be our controller. We're not going to be using a state manager. Mostly because we don't need to be saving states. We can save them just right on the controller, so we can also move this and sync this multiplayer when it comes down to multiplayer in the future. So I'm going to go and replace everything here, find a replace, quick replace, and everywhere that there's states dot, I'm going to replace them all. So basically just delete them all. Now we still have a few more issues that we are missing a few things. Because we're going to be moving with our transform at some point, I'm going to make a variable to save our transform, and on start I'm going to assign that as this dot transform. Okay, then we're missing the vertical movement speed. We are calculating the velocity in here. We also need to know if we are on lock-on. We need to have check ground. Let's bring the check ground yet. And we actually also need handle rotation and handle animations. So, for that, we're going to go back to move player character. And we're going to copy all of these. We're actually going to also need move with physics. So I'm just going to copy the entirety of this and just bring them here. Okay, now we're still going to have a few issues that we need to take care. Find and replace, quick replace, states dot, and just replace everything. Okay, obviously we now have so many errors because there's still a few things that are missing. Now, let's do public bool lock on. Public bool is on air. Public bool is on ground. Okay, and you can see, or is grounded, better. And you can see that we will start removing things from this. We're still missing the play target animation, and that is because we had this on our player state manager. So let's say get combo input. Let's find it first of all. Okay, maybe it wasn't there. Maybe it was on our move player character. No, it wasn't. Oh, yeah, it was on the character state manager, not the player manager. So I'm just going to copy this entirely and just paste it down here. Okay, all these are methods that we've seen before, so it shouldn't really be that much of an issue to you. So let's set up the animator as well. Okay. And now we are missing the references that are going to have to, work with our controller. So let's start with the easy ones. Layer mask. Ignore for ground check. Ignore for ground check, then it will be, if I'm not mistaken, we need to beat shift 8 and 9 for this, and we can actually check for that in our move player character inside our check ground. Final references 9 and 10. Okay. Go for a ground check, and what's it's a layer mask. Go for ground check. Yeah, okay. You're having an issue there. Okay. Ground ray for distance. Let's just make them public. We do not want them or need them public. Oh yeah, okay. You can understand that this is for the controller. Public float. Ground ray for distance. Public float. Ground down distance on air. Navmesh detect distance. And now we still need vertical and horizontal, and we need the movement speeds, and of course the move amount is created from vertical and horizontal. Move amount, okay. Okay, so float vertical, float horizontal, float move amount. Okay, and only then we have to add the public float movement speed. Front ray offset, we also need this, of course. We need to find the proper values for this, and I don't think we save them here. We do have some of them, so let's assign them. So I don't know if this is the correct ones. We're going to have to fix them up again, which will be fine. Movement speed, I think it was about 3. Ground ray for distance, I don't see it here. Anyway, we'll see. Ground down distance on air, yeah, these are not here either, because they are on the character state manager. Ground for distance on air equals 0.4f, 0.2f. Okay, then player state manager. Ground ray for distance. Maybe we do not have this. Ground down distance on air is that. Navmesh detect distance. Yeah, we're missing that one. Navmesh detect distance is 1, so this will be 0.2f. Okay, then let's do front ray offset to be 0.5f. Movement speed, roll speed, all of that, we want to add them. Oops. Roll speed, adapt speed and rotation speed, and attack rotation speed. Okay, we also need to know if you are rolling or not. We can find it. We can change this, the roll, we're going to change it slightly differently, but let's just copy paste it in here. Okay, so let's bring this back. We have most of our variables. Let's see which ones we're missing. We're missing the move amount, and in this case it's not missing. You're just doing, you already have your move amount up here. Then we should take this again and bring it down here where we are doing the handle rotation, because you're going to need this as well. We also need a target. We do not have a target at the moment. You can pass the target, however. Just for this, we're not going to be seeing lock on, at least not on this part. And here's where we have another issue. Our target direction needs to know where is our camera from. So we can pass the vector 3 target dir as well here, just so that we do not do it in here, which means these two are useless. We want this target direction. You're already going to be having your target direction, and then we just need the rotation speed and if you're interacting or not. You do have rotation speed though, so hold on. Yeah, okay. Let's call this rot speed or actual rotation speed. And you're missing the delta, which we should be passing as well. Okay, handle animations, you do need to know float vertical and float horizontal. And of course, you also need your move amount and the delta. Let's go up. So we're just left with passing all these variables we need here. So let's also pass the delta here. And rotation, delta, vertical, horizontal, move amount. Target direction, we do not have it yet. And actually, I think we just have the target velocity. So let's pass the target velocity as target direction, and we're going to leave it like that. Then delta, vertical, move amount for this, and we're missing the horizontal. There we go, and now we're only missing things in our move character. Inside our move character, we're actually going to rename this to move with agent, and I'm going to place these two things as well. We don't need this to be public. So over here we have handle rotation, which needs a few things. And actually, since we are moving like this, we can... Yeah, okay, let's simplify this even more. So let's remove handle rotation from all of these cases and the handle animations. Okay, so now this will not be running anywhere. So I'm going to be calling from my input manager, I'm going to have a method public void move character. It's going to be needing my vertical input and my horizontal input. From those two, I'm going to be creating my move amount, which we do here, but we're not going to be having access to the move amount anymore. Okay, so let's do mouse X, mouse Y, and actually we can just remove this entirely. And let's go on the controller and say move amount horizontal and your vertical. Okay, now we need to know if we are on the ground or not. If you are on the ground, then we're going to be doing this thing. So apparently we're probably not going to be needing this. Okay, because once we are on the ground, we're going to be creating, yeah, we know we're always going to be running this. So I think if we get this here, if we cut it and paste it inside here, we are creating a target velocity, which can also be our move direction. Okay. Then we're checking the ground towards where we need to go. And if we are grounded, we can set our agent velocity to be target velocity. We can also do this to change the, so Cinemachine follows us inside late update. And I think I'm just going to keep it like this. We might not actually use these two methods. Okay, we're only going to be using what we need. So I'm going to say I want to use hand rotation as well, which means we're going to have to pass these two as well. Let's see, do we use vertical? Yeah, so apparently we not use vertical or move amount in here inside our hand rotation, so that can go away. We do use the target, but because we have control now, we can just remove this entirely and we can do it. Yeah, and we can basically do it one step above. Okay, so if you're grounded, hand rotation, then we need the delta, which of course is going to be simply just taking the time to delta time. So hand rotation, just pass your delta, pass the move amount we have above, and the target velocity. And that will make you rotate towards where you want to go. Now, if, of course, you had lock on, so I'm going to turn this into rotate direction, and I'm going to set this as target velocity. If lock on, okay, to do, change rotate direction. We're not going to do it here. We can say region hand rotation. Or I think instead of doing regions, let's just say hand rotation. Handle movement. Okay, so we now can move with velocity, with agent velocity. So we're missing moving with physics. As you can see, moving with physics is slightly more complicated. So it will make sense to just keep it in here, I guess. But we have a few things that we are doing already, so we don't need them. So we do not need either vertical or horizontal. We just need the target velocity. Okay, let's see. Do we use move amount in here? We do use the move amount for a rigid body. Okay, so we can keep it. Let's clean this up slightly. Okay. Okay, then let's ignore this. Okay, so we can now just move this, move with physics, delta, target velocity, and your move amount. Okay, now if you are on the air, then that means you are moving with physics, as we have established before. The only thing I would like to check again is what we are doing inside check ground. And yeah, from what I can tell is this will work fine, at least. For now, this will work. We'll see later. So we have movement here, all and everything inside a simple method. So that means we do not need move with the agent anymore. Now we can create regions, I guess, or actually, since this is the controller, why bother? So we have our move character, but of course we also need to be rotating our character. So we can just go, well, we do rotate the character, so don't know what I'm saying. We need to be playing our animations next. And I think we already have anything we need, since we do have horizontal, vertical, and move amount and all that, which means we can just take this and drop it inside our move character. Handle animations, we have our delta time, we have our vertical, and we have our horizontal and move amount. Okay, and the methods are going to do anything they want. We can also make this public because we could use this from, you know, our multiplayer hook and so on. And I'm just going to hide this and this. Okay. Awesome. So on our input manager, we do have all of this. I'm simply going to replace this to controller. Inside start, I'm going to say to do check if you have the controller assigned, and if not, instantiate it. I'm not doing the instantiation yet. Instantiate. I'm not doing the instantiation yet. Actually, is this how we instantiate? Instantiate. So, okay, so we don't have any reference to the states, and actually I would just like to turn this into controller, just to avoid any misunderstandings there. And let's fix these issues. And of course, this now will just be, oops, some flaws. Then, going downwards, let's comment this out. We don't really need these two at the moment. It's just going to slow us down. And we do have, yeah, we're going to need the can-do combo on the controller as well. We do have this, okay. Let's make it public then. Although I think, yeah, okay, let's keep, maybe no. I think this is kind of, this can just go on to, yeah. This can just go onto the controller and leave this private. And then inside of character, we can just also create an update for this and keep references like this, so they do reset and handle its own states depending on what the animator is doing without having to reference the input manager. Okay. So, okay. Now this is now how it's doing all our input. So that means we can also do controller dot move character. We have our vertical and we also have our horizontal, and that's all we kind of need to know at the moment. Okay. Yeah, of course here we have the attacks as well, so it's not that simple at this point, but let's comment them out and we'll do them on the next video. Same with the roles actually. I just want to get this going, then we'll just come and bring them back. We're not going to change much, we're simply going to be changing, uncommenting them and changing the references. Okay, then let's close this. Of character, I think we could just start doing this actually and see what else we have to go about it. Close that, and I'm simply going to duplicate this guy after it compiles. Going to duplicate this guy and keep this closed as a backup, though we're not using it anymore. It's probably going to give you a few errors if you try it. And I want to close the enemy as well, and just to work with my guy. So let's clear up the references we need. We do need anything else in here, but we also need, well, the trick is that we actually don't need the input manager here. We actually just want the input manager on a different script or a different game object, and then we can use the controller for this. Okay, so let's move this up. Let's move this as well. Let's close these three. We won't need them. And let's hit play and see where we are at. Okay, we have a few issues from the on animator move, which, yeah, because you do not have states, that's why. So let's just say if state equals null, simply return for now. Okay, and as you can see, yeah, we can move. We do not rotate because rotation is based off your movement direction when you're locked on. So let's bring our rotation as well, and we're going to have access to our camera, or to the transform of the camera, that is, or let's just say transform. Okay, I'm going to say camera transform. That will be camera.main.transform. And I think we're doing the same thing here when looking for a camera. Yeah, okay. Input manager. So let's go in here. We have movement of our character, then we need to change the target velocity based on that. Okay, and yeah, here's the issue. Rotate direction is not target velocity. We need to be creating the target direction we want to move. So that will be vector 3, or actually move amount. Yeah, okay. When you're not in locked on, your rotate direction will be changed. Yeah. So float rotate direction. Let's find our rotate direction. Rotate direction, then it's going to be here. Okay. On our input manager, we're going to say vector 3 rotate direction, and that will be camera transform dot right for starters, multiplied by horizontal, and pass the rotate direction. And yeah, this needs a vector 3. And on that, we're going to add camera transform dot forward multiplied by vertical. Here's the thing with forward. It's actually going to, if your camera is looking down, then you're going to be looking down as well. We don't want that. So instead of making the camera, actually, yeah, we need to kind of scale it, I believe, or to project it onto vector 3. So give me a minute. So, okay, plus transform.forward. Now, here's one small thing. This works fine, but keep in mind that it might change you because we have different speeds. So when looking forward, the forward of the camera is actually going upwards at this moment. So it might add you some values on the Y as well. But since we're using the navmesh agent, it doesn't really do anything different. Okay, so just to make sure we do not have any of that issues, then we're going to say rotate direction dot y equals 0. Okay, so you will never rotate upwards, downwards, or whatever. And I think that's not really much of an issue as well, because because of this, because whatever we pass on the target direction, we already reset the Y, so that will be pointless. That won't really be necessary at this moment. So, okay, with this we have now a more simpler way to just basically move around without having to use the state machine. Yeah, speed should be slightly faster, I guess, or depending on what you want to do, how fast you want to move. Okay, so that's for moving around. Let's see what else we can bring in a short amount of time. Let's add the attacks, because obviously those are kind of necessary. And let's ignore this one. Let's find this too. Then play target item attack input. Okay. And if you have this, these are not really necessary at the moment because we do not do anything. We do not have state IDs. Okay, so let's go and implement the target item action. We're going to go from our player state manager and take the play target item action, copy it, and just put it back to the controller. Okay, now, of course, we kind of need this to be simple void. Can rotate equals false. We're going to need the state for if you can rotate as well. We'll fix those later. So, we need the inventory manager for this. So for right now, I'm just going to say play target animation attack 1, and interacting, I'm going to say it's true because we want to fix the interactions. Then inside the move character, there is the other case where moving your character, we can really move our character if we are interacting. So if is interacting, return. Here's one thing I would like to take though. I want these two and keep them here. And I would like to take the handle rotation as well and bring it above. Okay, so with this, of course, it's not yet implemented. Now, why I will need this to be above here is because we are going to be using it even if we are interacting. So, if is interact, or you know what, maybe we could just take this if is interacting, and maybe we can say if node is interacting or can rotate. You're going to be running these two issues. Let's bring this here. Okay, so if the attack tells us you can rotate when you attacking, okay, based on the events and so on, then you can do this here. On our animator hook, then, instead of having these states, we're going to switch this to controller. We don't need any init anymore. We're going to just use start, and let's say states get component in parent controller. We're also going to rename this to controller. We don't need this at this moment. Well, yeah, we kind of need it actually. So let's say that is interacting is false, then turn that. So controller.delta, and let's change this to time.delta time. It's greater than 0. And then we also need the animator. Well, you already have the animator. You should be having the animator here. So you don't need that one. So this will be animator. Controller delta. This will be this. Well, okay, let's do on the controller, let's make a public float for this delta. So we do not have to worry about doing it in here. Which also means we could just remove it from move with physics. We could remove it entirely from this one and this one. Since we now have our delta either way. Now it's a class variable instead of a method variable. And let's see, handle animations, float delta. Okay, there goes that. Okay. And I think we're using handle rotation 2 times. No, okay, it's only once. Awesome. Okay, then back to our animator hook. We need access to the agent as well. So let's make this public. Okay, and now we need access to these two. Let's open the can move, although we do not have the behavior yet, I believe. Okay, I'm just going to close these two for now. We don't need them. Okay, so technically this will be working. I don't know if we start with, oops, let's see what we're missing. Input manager, play target item action. And I think this is public void. So why are you? Huh. Oh, because it's a bool. Yeah, we don't need this anymore. And actually, I'm just going to comment it out. Leave this here. And comment this out as well. Now, because this was checking if you were attacking, it was doing a few other things because it will have changed the state and so on. We don't need it anymore. Okay, because we are changing the entire logic, so it's going to be interacting now. So if it's interacting, it's not going to be running the move character behavior. Okay. So for that to play, that means your play target animation is interacting is going to be set at true. And this is going to control now if you are interacting or not. And I will actually like to put this in here So it's always checking for is interacting. And let's try, let's fix the other error. Yeah, we do not have this anymore, so remove it. So that also means, no, okay. Let's see, only what's missing now is seeing if this guy has the animator hook. And we're stuck. We're stuck. What are you doing? Okay, we're back. Okay, we only want animator hook, cloth manager, and whipper holder manager. We can use them later. We're still going to have all of this. Okay, so right now we only want to know if we can move. And clicking, he will attack. But we are kind of sliding, as we see. And somebody has an issue with on state ender. Yeah, because we also have the combos. That's why. So we do not want. Well, actually, we're going to use this, but this needs to be a controller. Anyway, we're going to fix it later. Let's just comment it out at the moment. So when we are attacking, we are actually still can move, which we do not want this to be happening. And I think it has to do with play target animation not setting is interacting to be is interacting. And actually this dot is interacting. Okay, now the only thing that you need to change is on your input manager. If the controller is interacting, then you obviously can't do an attack. Otherwise, it's going to be locking all those things. So if controller not is interacting, don't do any of this, and I think we probably shouldn't be able to do this as well. And actually, I think you don't even need these two anymore, but we'll see them later. I mean, you don't need them as bullets. You're probably going to need them as something else. Yeah, now it works as we had it before, but it's one small issue. We are stuck in this state at now because is interacting is stuck as well. So that's happening. We need to check onto our attack. Is interacting is false, so that means we have some issues onto our controller. And is it interacting? It's an update actually. So if is interacting, enable get state is interacting. Let's see, that's weird. Oh yeah, because this is private method. A private boolean. We need to set it like this. Okay. Let's hit play. And now we're back at it. Awesome. So that's basically the base setup. And right off the bat, we are simply using one script instead of having a ton of other scripts. Let's also try the falling down. I don't know if that's going to work at this moment. So if it doesn't, then we're going to have to add it on the next part because we are close to an hour. Okay, so we have some issues with what's happening once we are falling. Okay, so let's maybe put him there. Okay, and those issues are, I think, because the nav message agent stays open. Yeah, those issues are when the nav message agent remains open. let's try one small thing. Let's try taking what we had here and here and putting them inside our controller logic as well. So if you are grounded, which is here, then do this as well. Okay, we don't need states, obviously. Okay, and if you're not grounded, let's change also the update method. Let's take the rigid body drag and okay, that's sort of different as well. So I'm just going to copy paste them in here. Let's remove these states and remove this, and we're going to let him move with physics, or at least fall down. So I guess if we wanted to fall, for this to fall down, we should take this as well, paste it here. Yeah, no, let's keep it like this. Yeah, okay, let's keep it like this for now, and we'll see. We might have to change a few more things for it, but the base core of it is done and ready. Yeah, okay. There's just not touching the ground at this moment because there is no, we do not enable it back again, and I think because you are not grounded. Okay, it's grounded, and you need this as well, and you're not on the air. And it's direct. Well, anyway, okay, let's leave it for the next part. For this, damn it. Yeah, okay. So you know what? Let's just comment this out, and we're going to rewrite this logic slightly better because it's not really that much ideal at this moment to be doing this. Okay, because if you are interacting, which when you're falling you kinda do, you're not running the logic below, so that means if you're not on the ground, yeah, we need to move some of this from here to inside update, which we'll do on the next part. So anyways, as always, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and if you like to see more stuff, more of these things, then consider so yeah, that's it. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, and if you like to see more stuff, of course, consider supporting my Patreon so we can keep making all of these. I'll see you next time.